This one's a moon, made in St. Louis. This one here's a 1928 Diana, also made in St. Louis by the Moon Company. Oh, look at this Pierce arrow here. 1933. Let's see what we got in here. This is a 1927 Lincoln cutaway engine. Look at the old flathead. Yeah, look how the exhaust exited up there on the top. $1950 Merc. '34 Ford, nice. This is a Bantam, 1933. You know, built off of similar to the British Austin.
Travel trailer here.
A lot of Lincolns here. (1909) Gabron Brielle, Australia. Huh. Winton 1913 Winton, I don't know if I've ever heard of those. A Durant, heard of those. A Dort, never heard of those. Flint, Michigan. Stevens Duria. So this here is it's called a 1913 Christie, and it has a front drive motor. You can see in there, and it's actually made by the Front Drive Motor Company in Hoboken. Here's a 1937 Graham in original condition. It's got 22 some odd thousand miles on it, never been restored. You can see on here the paint's worn a little bit. It's got some marks on it, but boy, it's all original. That's a 36 Hupmobile. This here's a 1930 Rolls-Royce Phantom 2 town car. Look at this thing. Oh, it was actually made by Brewster. The body was made by Brewster in New York. It won Best to Show in 1992 at the Pebble Beach. Wow, that's something. $1929 Kissel. Can't say I've heard of that. Look at the golf bags back there. 1948 Tucker. Never seen one in this color. Usually they're like a blue or some metallic. It's a 46 Volkswagen Beetle. And it looks like it was maybe a military version. So it says this one was built in 46 in Wolfsburg, you know, when the factory was under British occupation. Interesting. Wow, look at this. This is a Pierce Arrow, 1937 Pierce Arrow with a Pierce Arrow travel trailer. It's quite large. Amazing. Look at the bath. Pretty neat. So there were only 104 of those travel trailers made. And it said this one here used to be a chicken coop prior to being restored. Type 23 Bugatti. Never seen a little one like that. Huh? Look at this big thing next to it. Holy cow. 1911 Oldsmobile. Look at the size of that. So it says here that this was the largest Olds built, and it's got 43-inch wheels on it, the largest ever used on an automobile. And this is the only Olds Limited in existence, and it's in original unrestored condition. Wow. So this is a 1937 Royal Canadian locomotive. Doesn't say who it was built by, probably Baldwin. And this Nethercutt collection bought it in 1999 from Pennsylvania. I think we may have saw this locomotive out at the Steamtown.
Perhaps the last time we'll do a locomotive and a rail car. The locomotive up front is a 1937 Canadian Pacific Royal Hudson steam locomotive that's powered by coal. It's state-of-the-art for 1937 in that nobody has to shovel the coal. It has a stoker. Stoker is a big cast iron tube, almost 3 feet in diameter, with a screw in it, an Archimedes screw, or like a meat grinder. It brings the coal forward from the tender to the entire working career, hauling passenger trains from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, in a big northwestward arc over the top of Lake Superior to a town called Thunder Bay, Ontario. We're at Thunder Bay. It was serviced, put on a turntable, turned back around, and sent back to Toronto. That's a one-way trip of 811 miles one way. So that's 6 crew changes, 6 distinct crew changes, 6 8-hour shifts. And that locomotive stopped maybe once or twice during that 8-hour shift to replenish the coal supply and the water supply. It used coal voraciously. It used coal, 1 ton of coal every 10 minutes at speed. So you can see why they have a stoker and not somebody shoveling coal. The locomotive is called a Royal Hudson for one reason. King George VI, when he toured Canada in 1939 with his wife Queen Elizabeth, who are the mother and father of the current Queen. King George is the subject of a current movie right now. Toured Canada in 1939 from the east coast of Canada, west coast, and back again, over 6,500 miles, being hauled by a sister to that locomotive, number 2860. Ours is number 2839. The King was so impressed with the performance and the beauty of that locomotive, which could do 90 miles per hour, he bestowed royal status upon that whole class of locomotives, meaning that we can put a crown on the front running board. The crown, you can see the crown, but the King's not available. The locomotive was restored right there where it sits, using documents that we got from the Canadian Pacific Railroad, and we had a wonderful, great stroke of luck. An elderly man from Hemet, retirement community out by Palm Springs, called us when he read about us getting number 2839 and said he had been fireman on that locomotive and would we like to see some photographs. Wow. And y'all car collectors know what a photograph can do for you. It's like 10 books. It's a wonderful way to restore. We bought the locomotive, brought it, and this gentleman helped us immeasurably, even picked the color of the interior of the cab. When you see it, you'll understand why I was skeptical. Enough said. The locomotive is restored to cosmetic condition. We haven't quite finished mechanics. The flue tubes have yet to be installed. They flow the water through the fire to make the steam. The one piston needs to be rebored. That'll be done, and then it'll be fired up, then probably pickled and put away for posterity. This that I'm standing on, this beautiful rail car, is a 1912 Pullman private rail car. Keyword is private, like owning a private jet today. This is the private jet of 1912. This rail car was purchased new by Clara Baldwin Stalker. Clara was the eldest daughter of a California pioneer many of you have heard of. His name was Lucky Baldwin. Lucky made his fortune in California and Nevada mining stock, bunch of money. Lucky Baldwin lived a good life. He had hotels in San Francisco, had lodge at Lake Tahoe, bought the entire Santa Anita Rancho, a Spanish land grant, in the San Gabriel Valley. Daughter Clara bought this car new December 14th, 1912, after the Lucky's will was probate. It took 2 years to probate his will because of 5 ex-wives. So it took a while. The two ladies, Clara and Anita. Anita's named after the ranch, and she also bought a rail car about 3 years later, and hers is still existing. It's in Aspen, Colorado, and there's no way to get it out of Aspen now because the tracks have been removed from Aspen to the main line, so it's going to be there for a while. One item that we had trouble finding for the restoration was a little 44-note electric piano called a Wurlitzer pianino. Those of you who have been on the tour of the Nethercutt collection across the street know we have a great music department. Our music department helped us find this piano, and we think now that this is the correct and original one for this car because we bought it in Massachusetts, about 100 miles from where we bought the rail car. And number two, it's the only one existing that has the mahogany case that matches the beautiful mahogany walls in the car. If it's not the correct one, it's identical. So I'm going to start. Pardon me?
What did it cost new?
About $50,000 in 1912. So again, multiply by 40. You'll see what it's worth in today's dollar.
There is a note on making it.
Wow, this is where they had dinner.
It takes 2 days.
This is where they slept.
About that, I think.
Look at this bedroom up here.
You would hear the joints.
Oh, really?
Clickety, 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 click. And it takes about a couple of nights to get used to it. There were
Wow, I
not,
bet those tracks are dirty to
there was
play
no holding.
I wouldn't be playing on those tracks.
There was no holding tank or anything like that. At least in most of them.
What do you think? And another bed.
This is a bunk bed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
This is a kitchen.
Oh, yeah. Wow. The servants could go there, and then this is where they would. Look at the snow. Hold on, Nancy, wait for us. Now, Marissa. Marissa, wait. Now you're going into the locomotive. Did you find the bell?
Really cute. Oh, it is kind of a funky green, huh?
I wanted to do that all.
Alright, let's go.
Let somebody else have a turn, Nancy.
Somebody else grab this thing. Got all the knobs and switches.